Our Commitment 2020 coverage continues. It is Election Day in Kansas and Missouri, the first held during a pandemic. I'm Laura Moritz.
And I'm Chris Katz. News Chopper 9 has been up over polling places, seeing some long lines today. The polls close at 7 tonight, but if you're in line then, you can vote.
After months on the campaign trail, all the presidential candidates can do now is wait. President Trump left the White House earlier today for his campaign headquarters in Arlington, Virginia.
Democrat Joe Biden will watch the results from his home in Delaware before moving to an election center. They've been making their closing arguments in swing states this week.
We have a lot of people that say, we don't want to talk to you, and then they go vote for Trump, right? You know, the hidden voter or whatever they call them. Somebody said they're the shy voters. My people are not shy.
Everybody knows who Donald Trump is. But we're about honor, integrity, dignity. This is the United States of America. We've got to let them show who we are. We choose hope over fear. We choose unity over division.
And of course, we'll be covering the big statewide races tonight.
Kansas is electing a new U.S. Senator. Missouri will elect its next governor. KMBC 9's Kelly Ackerman is covering Governor Mike Parson's campaign, and she joins us live from Springfield. Kelly?
Laura and Chris, we are at the White River Conference Center here. This is part of the Bass Pro Complex here in Springfield. And this is where Republicans are going to be gathering tonight in support of Governor Mike Parson. Now, of course, Parson is vying for his first full term as governor. He took over as governor when Eric Greitens resigned back in 2018. Now, going into this, he's been leading in the polls. However, in single digits, this has been a much more competitive race than a lot of political analysts had predicted. Now, he and his Democratic opponent, Nicole Galloway, have attacked each other's ethics in a lot of TV ads, but a lot of this has come down to the handling of the pandemic. Parson has defended his approach as a balanced approach, balancing public safety with a strong economy. He says he supports wearing masks, but he does not support mandates. That is something he disagrees with his opponent on. Now, this watch party is set to begin at 7 o'clock tonight. We'll be here as the results are coming in. Right now, I'm going to go to Bianca Beltran. She is in Columbia, covering the opponent.
And Kelly, a very different atmosphere here for the Nicole Galloway campaign. I'm in a ballroom at the Tiger Hotel where it's media only, campaign staff coming in and out, but not very much of a watch party like it sounds like with Governor Mike Parson. Now, I just spoke to a senior advisor for Nicole Galloway's campaign, and he says that they are excited. They had a huge push to get out the vote over the weekend, and even now they are making calls until polls close at 7 o'clock. Now, this morning, Nicole Galloway visited polling places in St. Louis and greeted voters there. Her staff says that they are excited by the voter turnout, and they said that they believe that shows an interest in having their voices heard and seeing some change. And they point to Nicole Galloway's work as an auditor, taking a look at how taxpayer money is used in the state of Missouri. As you mentioned, COVID-19 and the governor's handling of that has been a point of contention for the candidates for governor. But another priority for Nicole Galloway is health care. And voters in Missouri this summer approved Medicaid expansion across the state, and she says that if she is elected governor, that she would be committed to seeing that through. Chris, Laura.
Tens of millions of dollars have been spent on the Kansas Senate race.
Barbara Bollier is looking to become the first Democrat to win a Kansas Senate race since 1932. Our Haley Harrison is with the Bollier campaign right now in Overland Park. Haley?
Yeah, here at the Overland Park Convention Center, if you are a Kansas voter, you know exactly what I've got here in my hand. Just a couple days worth, quite honestly, of the attack ad mailers going out in this Senate race. And the reason why is there's a lot of money being spent on this race. As you mentioned, tens of millions of dollars, in fact, because the nation's eyes are on Kansas tonight. The balance of power in the United States Senate is up for grabs today. And for the first time in many years, Barbara Bollier and the Democrats are competitive in this race. Roger Marshall, however, by many forecasts and political projections, favored to win tonight. We talk about the money here. Combined, the campaign fundraising and outside groups, $78 million being spent here. Barbara Bollier, I know we have some numbers to show you here. Barbara Bollier raised $24 million. Roger Marshall raised $6 million. She tells me she received campaign contributions from all 105 Kansas counties. Here's what she had to say.
Yeah, there's been a lot of outside money come in, particularly for my opponent. I've outraised him almost 5 to 1 from real groups. And that dark PAC money, they've paid for like 3/4 of the dark money that has come into the state.
Now, the money that she's alluding to there, the outside spending, $47 million. By the latest projections, $24 million being spent on attack ads against Barbara Bollier, $15 million being spent on attack ads against Roger Marshall. Again, the nation's eyes on this Senate race tonight. We'll be covering it for you here live from the Overland Park Convention Center. Want to get out to Topeka and the Roger Marshall campaign at the Cyrus Hotel there. Our very own Emily Hallwick covering that race for us tonight. Emily.
We're here outside the hotel where the Kansas GOP watch party is going to be taking place, and this is where Dr. Roger Marshall is going to watch those results come in tonight. I actually had the chance to speak with him a short time ago. He tells me he is feeling relaxed and confident heading into tonight as he waits for those results to come in. And the last time that Kansas elected a Democrat to the U.S. Senate was 1932, so the Republicans have held the seat more than 80 years. Dr. Marshall's hoping to keep the Republican streak going by taking retiring Senator Pat Roberts' place. Marshall is not a political newcomer. He's served in the U.S. House of Representatives for Kansas 1st District since 2016. And during his campaign, he's been touted to voters as a Trump loyalist, voting with the president 98% of the time. You may recall on the night of the primary, we were there as President Trump called Marshall to congratulate him on his win and offer him his full support. Now, Marshall has also pushed against his opponent, Democrat Barbara Bollier, by saying she's too extreme for Kansas and not the moderate that she says she is. He says he's received incredible support from Kansans during his campaign.
I'm very confident. We've left it all in the playing field really for a year and a half. We've been working 14, 16 hours a day. I've not taken a whole day off really in over a year and a half. Feel like we ran a solid campaign. We presented our message. The message has been well received.
And polls have been very tight in this Senate race, so they have been giving Marshall a slight lead. We're going to be here watching how that all unfolds tonight. Reporting live in Topeka, Emily Hallwick, KMBC 9 News.
And our political reporter Michael Mahoney has spent months covering the statewide races in Kansas and Missouri.
All right, Michael, let's talk about the race for the White House and its impact on these particular races. In Missouri, the president won the Show Me State Big 4 years ago, carrying Eric Greitens then to the governor's mansion. What about Mike Parson this time around?
Well, it's a situation, Chris, where Missouri Republicans are worried about this. Now, none of them expect another 19-point blowout in Missouri by President Trump this time. But traditionally, the top of the ticket, in this case, President Trump, performs better than the other races in Missouri. Now, if Trump is way off his 2016 landslide, that's something that Missouri Republicans will be watching very closely and with a worried eye. They expect Mike Parson to win, but they're figuring it will be closer than they prefer. And quite frankly, Democrat Nicole Galloway has run a very good campaign.
Michael, talk about Kansas. Barbara Bollier's chances, they could be impacted also by how the president performs in the Sunflower State. And right now, the polls show President Trump with strong numbers, but not 20 points strong like he was in 2016.
Yeah, exactly, Laura. The Marshall Senate campaign thinks that the president is in good shape in the Sunflower State right now. Now, they don't think he's going to win by 20 again, but they expect him to be strong. However, a couple of weeks ago, a number of Republicans involved in the campaigns were quite nervous about the president's performance in Kansas, especially after that first debate. Now, they think that things have settled down. The campaign of Democrat Barbara Bollier has tied Marshall quite tightly to Trump, and that's been easy to do, as we saw in Emily's report just a moment ago. And her closing argument has been that health care is and remains the #1 issue for Kansas voters, and that the COVID crisis has compounded that, and they are hoping that Kansas voters agree. Chris?
We have a long night ahead of us, that's for sure. Michael will help guide our election coverage throughout the night. Johnny Rollins has also been giving us the only view from up above in News Chopper 9. And Johnny, you've been over polling places all day long.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, Chris, where we are right now, the Brush Creek Recreation Center here at Cleveland and Brush Creek Boulevard. Actually, it's Swope Parkway, and it's going to be close to as well Swope Parkway. It's been a very inspiring scene here. You can see a few cars in the parking lot to the right, but this is where voters are entering the building right now. And we have seen a handful, several folks in wheelchairs, motorized wheelchairs, voters coming up to vote. And in particular, one elderly lady who had to park on the other side of the parking lot with a walker. and it took her a fair amount of time just to make it across the parking lot and into the building here to vote. And that just gives you an idea of how amazing this year is, and just overall our right to vote, and those who take it so seriously and would not miss it no matter what issues they may have. Right there too, you can see it looks like someone serving refreshments to voters as they come out of the Brush Creek Recreational Center here in Kansas City, Missouri. Johnny Rollins, News Chopper 9, back to you in the studio.
All right, Johnny, democracy at work. Law enforcement is working to make sure Election Day is safe and secure. KMBC 9's Matt Fleener joins us from Union Station with those efforts. Matt?
Laura, we've been talking with law enforcement and U.S. attorneys' offices on both sides of the state line all day long. They have not seen any sort of reports of rogue poll watchers or voter intimidation at any polling places, especially this one here at Union Station or any other around the metro. The biggest thing reported today, though, was actually vandalism at the National World War I Museum and Memorial. Graffiti painted on the wall there this morning, encouraging people not to vote. That graffiti, though, it actually got wiped away very quickly by a local company, and voting took place there as normal today. But we've checked with the Secretary of State's offices on both sides of the state line. They have dealt with a few minor issues, but nothing too big. We have reported in the past that the FBI actually does have command posts set up in Topeka, Jefferson City, and right here in Kansas City. They're taking calls to their TIPS hotline. We've also talked with Kansas City Police. They just told us, actually within the past 10 minutes, that they have not seen any widespread issues today. Matt Fleener, KMBC 9 News.
This is really good news. The FBI, however, is investigating robocalls that discourage people from voting. A computerized voice tells people to stay home and stay safe. Experts say it's an effort to scare voters to sit out this election.
And for the first time, Arrowhead Stadium is serving as a polling place. KMBC 9's Kelly Gibbs is live there right now. Kelly.
Well, much longer lines earlier today, but at this hour, those lines have dwindled. Now, many voters I spoke with exiting the polls say the entire process of casting their ballot took less than 10 minutes. The home of the world champion Chiefs, now a polling location. Voters casting their ballots on the club level.
You do it because you can. If you do nothing, then you have nothing to worry about, and you have to accept whatever's done to you. If you do what you can, then that you've done the most.
Kansas City, Missouri residents in Jackson County were the only voters eligible to cast their ballots here, receiving a Chiefs-branded I voted sticker after making their voices heard.
It's the future. It determines things from now on. It's just literally the whole future. I wouldn't miss it.
The Kansas City Area Transportation Authority also developing a free bus plan, enabling voters without a ride to make a stop here on Election Day. And to vote here, you have about 2 hours left. The polls close at 7 p.m. Reporting live at Arrowhead, Kelly Gibbs, KMBC 9 News.
And of course, we'll have all the results as they come in. We'll also have a live blog tracking the races, all at KMBC.com.